That song's called Don't Think Twice, It's Alright by Bob Dylan. And I used to love that song. And I used to always want to learn how to play that song. But it sounded so hard. Every time I saw someone playing fingerpicking style, I would look at it and think that looks absolutely impossible. So I got a new acoustic guitar after I graduated from college, and the first thing I thought that I would do is finally learn how to fingerpick. And the first song I wanted to learn was that song. So I went on YouTube and watched a guy give a tutorial on how to play it. And in that tutorial, he said this offhanded throwaway line as he was explaining that stuck with me ever since I heard it. And years later, after becoming fluent in Spanish, I finally understand why it stuck with me for so long. So I know you guys are here for language learning, but if you've ever been curious about how to learn fingerpicking, basically you start by playing the pattern as slow as you need to, probably consciously thinking about each string you're playing. And eventually you'll be able to play that fluidly all the way through. And when you can do that, you introduce a metronome. And you slowly increase the speed of the metronome until you can play the song at natural speed. And this takes a long, long time. You play the pattern until your hand actually starts to cramp. And what this guy said in the video that stuck with me ever since I heard it was, he said as he was playing the pattern, just 1,000 times and you'll get it. And when I heard him say that in my first attempts to play it, I thought it was funny. And I wondered if it was true. Because if it was true, there was no special hoop I needed to jump through to be able to learn to play the pattern. There was no expert guitar consultant I needed to talk to figure it out. It was literally just me, the guitar, and time. So I put my faith in that idea and I started playing the pattern really slowly. Over time, making it faster and faster. Until 100, 500, 1,000 reps later, I can play it completely naturally. And it honestly feels automatic. I don't even think about it as I'm playing. The thing that seems so distant and so complex was actually reached by a series of simple, slow, incremental steps. 1,000 times, and you get it. The belief in that idea is probably why I was so receptive to comprehensible input as a method for learning languages. And my success with the method has solidified this idea for me that learning a language, just like fingerpicking, is built through repeated exposure at a level you understand. In fingerpicking terms, that's picking the pattern at a speed you can manage. In language learning terms, that's consuming content at a level you understand it. The reason I can play a fingerpicking pattern while speaking without struggling is because my hand is so conditioned to playing that pattern, it's become automatic. I don't have to think about each string I'm picking like I used to. And to me, it's a one-to-one comparison with Spanish. Just like I conditioned my hand to fingerpick, I conditioned my mind to understand Spanish. That's why so much of the language learning content I see on YouTube doesn't make sense to me. You see a lot of videos like, don't make this mistake in Spanish, or 10 phrases you need to know before you can understand Spanish, or how to understand the past tense in Spanish. And I understand the appeal. When you watch these videos, you feel like you're progressing. But to me, it's like trying to learn fingerpicking by me explaining fingerpicking to you. It misses what's actually important, the reps. Knowing something about a language isn't the same as being able to hear it, process it, and truly feel it when it's spoken. The only thing that builds that kind of comfort is exposure to the language at a level you understand. And most of these videos seem to miss that really important piece. They replace the reps with explanations. And explanations feel productive, but they're no substitute for the conditioning. To me, getting to fluency is all about the conditioning. It's all about doing the reps. And an explanation can't replace one of those reps. Or in other words, you can't replace an hour of listening to content with an explanation video about the past tense. I took Spanish in high school, so for a long time I've been able to take an infinitive verb in Spanish and put it in past tense. But that's never meant that when a Spanish speaker speaks to me, I can feel that we're in past tense, like I can in English, for instance. In English, I'm not really consciously aware people are changing their verbs when they're speaking. But when someone's speaking in past tense, I feel like we're in the past. So yes, on paper, I understood the past tense in Spanish, but it never translated to real life. Now, at almost 1,000 hours of comprehensible input, when I'm listening to the Harry Potter audiobook, which you all know that I listen to if you follow me, when I'm listening to the Harry Potter audiobook and I hear se comió, se marchó, I instantly feel like we're in the past tense. I feel that inflection. I feel that accent on the end of the verb, and I'm like, you just feel like we're in past tense. It's not conscious, it's unconscious, because I've been conditioned to understand the past tense through exposure. And realistically, where I'm sitting now, I could never imagine understanding Harry Potter without being able to first understand super beginner content and Dreaming Spanish. The conditioning was slow and incremental. There was never this sudden jump like, oh, I learned how to do the past tense, now I understand when people are speaking in past tense. I think that's a pipe dream sold by traditional learning, and I've just never seen it work out. In whatever language you're learning, there's a lot of words and phrases that exist in that language but don't exist in your native language. And what that means to me is there's no good way to explain what they mean to you without you already knowing the language. Any explanation you get can only be an approximation. The only way to truly understand a word or phrase or a concept in a different language is to acquire that language. I think we all implicitly understand this. Like if I ask you to define already in English, you might be able to give me certain situations you use the word in, but at a certain point, the explanation just becomes more English. There's nothing deeper, there's nothing underneath already. You just know what it means because you've heard it used in thousands and thousands of situations. And that's exactly what acquisition is. This happened to me with words like xa or caer in Spanish, where I would spend so much time consciously thinking about, what do these words mean in English? Only to wake up one day in my comprehensible input journey and just be able to understand that. I feel like a lot of people sell you this idea that you have to consciously struggle with these words and phrases before you can actually acquire them in your target language. But I think it's the opposite. I think you truly learn what these words mean through exposure, and then only later do you get the conscious understanding. For me, the explanations only work after you've done the reps, not before. I think the reason that line, just 1,000 times and you get it, has stuck with me until today is because it resonates with this belief I have that a lot of things that look complex are really simple once you break them down into steps. And I said simple, I didn't say easy. And what I mean by simple is that they don't require genius intellect or secret knowledge. What they really require is time, repetition, and the patience to not go off looking for shortcuts. Being able to speak and understand a foreign language, just like fingerpicking, looks magical from a distance. But the path to learn them is really a simple series of incremental steps to the top. You don't need anybody to hold your hand, and there's no special secret elevator that can get you there instantly. Although they look big and scary, they don't require anything special of you. All they require is your time. They require determination, consistency, things that any human being has the power to do, not just the elect. If you're not quite as solidified in your belief in the input method as I am, and you're at 100 hours, 50 hours, or even just 1 hour of comprehensible input, that's totally normal. The hardest part of the process, in my opinion, is staying consistent long enough for the process to work. And that's why I built my website, Lengualytics. It's a place where you can find high-quality, user-sourced, comprehensible input in your target language. You can track your hours, and you can actually see your comprehension visually grow over time. I also implemented this really cool badge system to give you little mini challenges while you take in input. I wasn't sure how they turn out because I worked with the contractor on the art, but they actually came out pretty fire, as you can see here. Anyway, if that sounds useful to you, check out the link in the description, and I'll see you there.